What is going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to the channel. And in this video I'm going to be doing my post week 4 USFL power rankings. Let's get into it. So, week 4 is officially now in the books of the 2023 USFL season. And coming in at number 8, I have the Memphis Showboats still, who were able to get their first win, though, since 1985. They are now 1-3, and they are still alive in this, in the mix with this win. It was an important win for them, and it was a big win for this team. They very much needed it. I still think they are, the weakest team of the bunch, but it was a much needed win for the Memphis Showboats. Coming in at number 7, I have the Philadelphia Stars, the team that has been to the USFL Championship in every year of the USFL's existence. Things are really starting to spiral out of control there. They're 1-3. They're about a loss, one more loss, and if they drop to 1-4, things are really bleak. If they lose another game and drop to 1-4, they may be already done, for as crazy as that sounds. And they play the Generals next week, so they're going to have a tough time. And the Generals are going to want that game, the revenge game for the Northern Championship last year. And, Case Cookus, he doesn't have any time to throw. He's getting sacked 4+ times each game. And he also just holds the ball a lot. And their defense just did not have any real answer for the Houston Gamblers. So the Stars have some major issues, and they're going to have to do a lot to be able to get back to the USFL Championship if they want to get back there. Coming in at number 6, I have the Pittsburgh Marauders, who dropped to 1-3. The Marlers gave a very tough game to the Birmingham Stallions. This is obviously a different Marlers team from last year, even though they are 1-3, but 1-3 is even better than they were last year at this point. But here's the thing, I'm all for racking up points and taking the points, but Ray Horton seems a little too conservative down in the red zone. Like, I get you don't have a great offense or a great red zone offense. They don't have a big body receiver to go up there and go get it in the red zone. You have Bailey Gayfer, who's more of a smaller guy, Isaiah Henney, who's a smaller guy. But in the opening drive of the game, when it was a 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line and they hand the ball off, sure, I get it, handing the ball off from the 3-yard line, but that's the kind of play call you do if you know you're going to go for it on 4th down. And they handed it off and then kicked the field goal. That just doesn't make sense. If you're going to kick the field goal on 4th down, you might as well have just done a pass play there. Instead, they hand it off and then kick the field goal. It just seems like they're too content with kicking field goals. They're 1 for 12 now in the red zone when it comes to scoring touchdowns. They've only scored 1 touchdown in 12 trips to the red zone this season. That is obviously not ideal. And if they could have just converted a touchdown in one of those field goal drives, they would have won the game. And they only have 2 offensive touchdowns the whole year. One of them, which was yesterday, was outside of the red zone, which is fine. But yeah, they need to be a little more aggressive in those situations. Obviously, part of it's execution. But other than that, which it is a pretty big deal, the Marlins are a very improved team. Coming in at number 5, I have the Michigan Panthers, who are now 2-2 after starting off 2-0 with 2 away wins. When they come back home to play in front of their home crowd, they've lost 2 now. They are 2-2, and obviously a quarterback controversy is brewing there with the Panthers between Josh Love and Carson Strong. The Panthers, yeah, it was so efficient those first couple of weeks. And this last 2 weeks, it's been pretty rough, and particularly it's been very rough offensively for them. They just can't seem to have any sort of a rhythm going anymore offensively. Have them behind the Houston Gamblers, even though they beat the Gamblers and they have the same record, because the Gamblers are just playing way better football right now. And then that leads me into number 4, the Gamblers, who are now 2-2. The unfortunate thing for the Gamblers is they're in a very tough Southern Division. In order for them to make the playoffs, they're going to have to surpass either the Breakers or the Stallions, which are arguably the 2 best teams in the whole league right now. Spoiler alert. But the Gamblers are playing really good football. It was a bit of a scary injury there for Kenji Bahar, but it seems like he will be ready to go next week. So he avoided a big injury there. Running back Mark Thompson was very good, averaged over 10 yards a carry with 3 touchdowns. He had a massive game, and their defense completely overwhelmed the Stars, but a lot of defenses have overwhelmed the Stars this year. But again, the Gamblers' offense played really well, and they won the game 41-16, and it easily could have been more for as big of a win as that sounds. With a missed field goal, missed extra point, and a couple of blown opportunities early on. But the Gamblers are definitely much better team than they were last year. And then coming in at number 3, I have the New Jersey Generals, who lost to the New Orleans Breakers, and they dropped to 2-2. That was a hard-fought game. Their defense kept them in that game, and their offense wasn't terrible, but the Breakers' defense was just playing really good football. DeAndre Johnson, he did the best that he could. He had less than 200 yards passing, but that's to be expected in a team that is very run-heavy and run-oriented. But yeah, the Generals, they just seem like they are, a team that dominates the teams that I've already mentioned, but they just can't seem to get over the hump against those top teams, if you know what I mean. But they definitely still are the team to beat in the Northern Division. And then coming in at number 2, I have the Birmingham Stallions, who were able to get the win after the loss to the Breakers. As I mentioned earlier, they beat the Marlers. Alex Magoo had a rough start to the game, but was able to bounce back, and particularly in that fourth quarter, making some pretty big-time plays for his team. And it was good for the Stallions to get back linebacker Scooby Wright, who was kind of the heart and soul of that defense. They hadn't had him since early on week 1, so that was a big addition back. Bo Scarborough will be coming back soon for the Stallions, so they can have their lead running back from last year. But yeah, the Stallions, they're still obviously the top team here, but number 1 has got to be the Breakers, who are now 4-0. They are undefeated, the only unbeaten team in the USFL, and McLeod Bethel Thompson, the quarterback, you can make an argument for him to be the MVP frontrunner, and then the running back, Wes Hills, you can make an argument to be the MVP frontrunner. So yeah, the New Orleans Breakers right now are just looking really good, and what's impressive is they arguably have the best quarterback right now in the USFL, the best running back right now in the USFL, the best tight end in Sage Surratt in the USFL, the best offensive line in the USFL, and possibly the best edge rusher right now in the USFL in Vontae Diggs. So when you have the top player at so many positions like that, you're going to be good. They're 4-0. Their defense, had been struggling, even though they had won the first few weeks, and they were able to just completely, neutralize at certain points in the game the New Jersey Generals, which was very impressive for them. But McLeod Bethel Thompson and Wes Hills, they made the plays when they needed to be made. Breakers are definitely the team to beat. Comment down below what you guys think. The USFL season is obviously now in full swing, and yeah. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time.